Can you imagine all of us trusting each other, working together for our common home?
Eunice Newton Foote rarely gets the credit she's due. In 1856, Foote theorized that changes in carbon dioxide in the atmosphere could affect the Earth's temperature. She was the first woman in climate science, but history overlooked her until just a few years ago. Foote arrived at her breakthrough idea through experimentation. With an air pump, 2 glass cylinders, and 4 thermometers, she tested the impact of carbonic acid gas, the term for carbon dioxide in her day, against common air. When placed in the sun, she found the cylinder with carbon dioxide trapped more heat and stayed hot longer. From a simple experiment, she drew a profound conclusion. An atmosphere of that gas would give to our Earth a high temperature. And if, as some suppose, at one period of its history, the air had mixed with it a larger proportion than at present, an increased temperature must have necessarily resulted. In other words, she connected the dots between carbon dioxide and planetary warming, and she did it more than 160 years ago. Foote's paper, Circumstances Affecting the Heat of Sun's Rays, was presented in August 1856 at a meeting of the American Association for the Advancement of Science, and then published. For unknown reasons, it was read aloud by Joseph Henry, Secretary of the Smithsonian, rather than by Foote herself. That was 3 years before Irish physicist John Tyndall published his own, more detailed work on heat-trapping gases, work typically credited as the foundation of climate science. Did Tyndall know about Foote's research? It's unclear, though he did have a paper on colorblindness in the same 1856 issue of the American Journal of Science and Arts as hers. In any case, we have to wonder if Eunice Newton Foote ever found herself remarking, as so many women have, "I literally just said that, dude." Foote wasn't only a scientist. She was involved in the early movement for women's rights, too. Her name appears on the list of signatories to the 1848 Seneca Falls Declaration of Sentiments, a manifesto created during the first Women's Rights Convention in the United States, right below suffragist Elizabeth Cady Stanton. Foote's husband, Elisha, and abolitionist philosopher Frederick Douglass also signed on, under gentlemen. Of note, John Tyndall opposed women's suffrage. Foote, it seems, was a climate feminist. The same patriarchal power structure that oppresses and exploits girls, women, and non-binary people, and constricts and contorts boys and men, also wreaks destruction on the natural world. Dominance, supremacy, violence, extraction, egotism, greed, ruthless competition. These hallmarks of patriarchy fuel the climate crisis just as surely as they do inequality, colluding with racism along the way. Patriarchy silences, breeds contempt, fuels destructive capitalism, and plays a zero-sum game. Its harms are chronic, cumulative, and fundamentally planetary. And these structures are being actively upended. The People's Climate March and the Women's March, school strikes for climate and the Me Too movement, rebellions against extinction, and declarations that time's up. More than concurrent, these phenomena are connected by the systems they seek to transform and the values that guide them. The climate crisis is not gender neutral. Climate change is a powerful threat multiplier, making existing vulnerabilities and injustices worse. Especially under conditions of poverty, women and girls face greater risk of displacement or death from extreme weather disasters. Early marriage and sex work, sometimes last resort survival strategies, have been tied to droughts and floods. There is growing proof of the link between climate change and gender-based violence, including sexual assault, domestic abuse, and forced prostitution. Tasks core to survival, such as collecting water and wood or growing food, fall on female shoulders in many cultures. These are already challenging and time-consuming activities. Climate change can deepen the burden, and with it, struggles for health, education, and financial security.